Well, welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review number 322. I am Virtue, the moderator, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, Gino is here, Walter is here, Jeff Meacham is here, and we might have a sixth panel member, but we'll see if he's able to join. That'll be Noah Foster. What's going on, everybody? Jeff, what's going on? I'll start with you. I usually do when you're on.
Well, God help us all if I'm starting. Yeah, it's just another Tuesday. Looking forward to being part of the review again. Busy week around the Meacham house and at the happiest workplace on earth. But I'm glad I have a day I can join you guys. And yes, as the chat room is saying, get well soon, Cleaver Colin Andrew. He's supposed to be here, but he's under the weather. So get well soon, brother Colin. And let's get it going, Virtue.
Now, Gino, I'll go over to you next. Just so people know, like, I have topics set in place tonight. If you do want to talk about any of the recent AEW or WWE releases, super chat. Aaron's going to have to mention it, and we're going to have to talk about it. I might have one guy kind of pigeonholed into one topic because of a comparison or a mock comparison he got once by Cope and a promo, but we'll see if that fits in the conversation. Gino, what's going on?
Not too much. Winter's finally over here in Florida. So we're back to beautiful weather, pool days, all the whole nine, and excited to get to the real main event right here tonight. So thank you, Virtue.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk. Obviously, it's official with who Jey chose. So We kind of speculated, but we might briefly chime in on that. And I had to be continued. I have some issues with Rock and Roman, not necessarily them. Rock, maybe him. Maybe we can put some blame on him. Not necessarily Roman, but we gotta. This is WrestleMania season, man, and I'm feeling underwhelmed because my guys are just not in a big spotlight, like the biggest spotlight, like I want them to be. But again, Gino, it's John Cena's year, so I'm sure we'll be talking about him more in the weeks to come. Walter, what's up?
Not much. Doing well. News has been popping the last couple of weeks, so yeah, good to have some topics. So I'm just ready to go.
And I don't know why. I mean, unless it's a CM Punk getting fired by AEW, because CM Punk is huge all the time, no matter what the topic is. I just don't know wrestling fans' obsession. And I guess you could say sports fans have the same thing. When players are released, where are they going to go, or who are they going to get traded to? Especially when it's nothing against them, but C and D list type talent. Some of the people that were recently released, I guess some fans think they could be, elevated if the right booker books them. But I'm like, whatever. Like, just kind of, they're wrestlers. They're going to find work. And it's just crazy, the obsession. Aaron, every time there's releases, he says site traffic is led by people clicking on it to see who these people are. The obsession is just insane. Again, CM Punk, I get, Brock Lesnar joins AEW. Oh, that's a good laugh. But I get certain things that would be interesting. To me, it's just not. Aaron?
Well, people have been buzzing about Ricky Starks possibly going to WWE, Malachi Black going back to WWE, even Miro potentially going back to WWE. Fans have been talking about this for a while. We've talked about it in the past. Triple H liked those guys, and I think he likes Ricky Starks.
Let's be honest, Aaron. People buzzing are wrestling marks. People on the street aren't buzzing. I mean, it would be hard to get casual fans to buzz about anybody in wrestling, including people like Cena, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. So
naturally,
be careful. Like when you say buzzing, the type of people that click on your site
within our community.
Because it's a craving for knowledge. Wrestling fans need to know the behind the scenes stuff.
It's fun.
You've been part of the problem for 20 plus years. Man. That's all right. That's your living.
You're just fueling it by doing the review.
Both of us, we are bad influences on the world. MJF's existence proves that. But no, it's funny.
Listen, you see the thumbnail for this show, Rick. So, Aaron, what else you got? There's some super chats that came in.
Yeah, you're delaying there a little bit. We do have a couple of super chats here. Shout out to the Cleaver Colin Andrew. Says, sorry, I'm sick and had to bail. Have a great show. Thank you for that, Colin. Sorry we couldn't have you on tonight. Maybe next week we'll get you on for the review. And Dan F sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Dan F. Says, looking forward to the No DQ review, putting on banger after banger after banger after banger. And that's what this is. This is the No DQ review. We have some fun topics tonight. And yeah, it's been a busy news week with the WWE releases. We had several people cut, and the AEW departures were announced. And I think we'll see Ricky Starks, Miro, and Aleister Black back in WWE at some point. I would not be surprised at all. I think that Miro and Aleister Black would have stayed in WWE had Vince McMahon. I think they would have stayed in WWE if Triple H had been in charge and not Vince. That's what I'm going with there. And Ricky Starks, he's close with CM Punk. He's close with Cody Rhodes. I expect him to be there in WWE. So Noah Foster has arrived. Noah Foster, welcome to the No DQ review. How's it going,
Hello.
man?
It's going well. Good to see you all once again. Hope everyone's had a pleasant Tuesday evening between transportation and work. You know how it is. Priorities over passions. But I'm glad to be here. It's good to see y'all.
Yeah, Ricky Starks will end up. He'll be the consolation prize we get for WrestleMania season. He's going to come in as Rocky Starks.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he's just going to own it. It's going to be thrown right back in Cope's face.
I have a petty idea of what they're gonna do with him, but I'll mention it later.
Oh, jeez.
Noah, what's up, man? Are you ready to kick off this show here?
Absolutely. Let's get right into it.
Aaron, what else we got? What else we got before we start?
No, I think we're caught
Okay.
up, and I'm looking forward to talking about the WrestleMania build.
Yeah, and so like I said earlier, if people want to talk about any of the releases, super chat. I think there's a minimum of $1 or $2, and we'll talk about it. But I'm going to start with talking about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. As of right now, he's not going to be any part of WrestleMania that we know of, unless it's maybe night 1 or night 2. He shows up and does something, cuts a promo. I doubt he would do a run-in. I mean, I would be shocked if WrestleMania comes and goes and he doesn't even show up at all. Wow, talk about Hollywood really taking over. But why I want to bring this up is because I gave it enough time. Royal Rumble happens, shows after the Royal Rumble happened, and he's definitely he came to the Netflix on Raw. He was the good Dwayne Johnson. He kissed and hugged Cody more or less and poof off into the distance. And all those teases that were built up mean nothing right now. And I have to say, shame on Dwayne. He comes in, he gets $30 million plus whatever incentives he has to be part of the board of directors for TKO. He did his business last year. He even pivoted and he made the fans happy and Cody finished his story. But then all of a sudden, just something weird at the end of last year, Cena came into the picture with a farewell tour. And now I feel like this whole season, this WrestleMania season, is for John Cena. And it's just really, it feels like a SummerSlam to me. Nothing against Jey winning other than who he chose, right? And we're going to talk about that in the next topic. But shame on Dwayne is really what I have to say. I mean, at this point, bring in Ricky Starks and do a parody of The Rock. And that's how he's introduced in the WWE. And then all of a sudden he's like, you don't have The Rock, I can be The Rock. And then he shits on the fans and becomes this awesome heel. I don't care. But shame on The Rock for teasing fans. It's just a shame. Jeff Meacham, what do you have to say about that? I get it. With his schedule making movies, unless you can fully commit to it. And remember, we got the old on NXT after Raw and Netflix debut. We got the old Rock's 20 steps ahead. Well, we're gonna have to wait a year, 2 years before that is continued. Just don't feed. And he's guilty of this because in the past he did something with Triple H when Triple H could maybe still work. He did a promo backstage that led to maybe they could come back and have a WrestleMania feud one more time. And it's kind of ridiculous that he kind of teases the fans, knowing the reach that he has because he's a legend. So Jeff, I just want to talk about kind of shame on Rock. And I could be worked. Maybe he comes back Elimination Chamber the night after, and we're all like, what? Dirt sheets were wrong. He's going to be part of WrestleMania, but probably not going to happen. So I feel comfortable saying shame on Dwayne. Right now, that's our topic.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Steve-O's chat in the room. It's as much as Rock is gone, as much as Dwayne is gone making movies, Disney is throwing money at him left and right for Moana 2 and for a lot of other projects. So that's why a lot of the reason why he's not there. I also tend to agree that he's not there because I don't know as much, as even though he's on the board, even though he has knowledge of what's going on, I don't know how much he knew about John coming back for the retirement tour. So maybe the tease that he gave us, what was that, a Bad Blood that he came out and did the, 1, 2, 3 thing with
Correct.
Roman and Cody.
Which,
We knew about the retirement tour before that because John announced it at Money in the Bank. So that's where I see the shame on Dwayne for the teasing, because if John's coming back and you watch that media scrum after Money in the Bank and he talks about 2025 is going to be the year, then there's no reason we should be getting teased unless, like you said, Virtue, we're all getting worked, which is a very distinct possibility. Rock's old school.
Yeah.
He came up under his father and Pat Patterson, the worker of workers. So wouldn't surprise me if we are getting kind of snowed here, but time will tell. We've got under 60 days till WrestleMania starts. So we'll see what happens in Las Vegas. I'd like to see him there, but I also am not overly upset if he's not there, other than, are we ever going to get The Rock versus one of those two guys that we've been teased for 2 years with?
Yeah, not only did we get Rock and Roman taken away from us, then we're like, hey, okay, well, we'll wait. Rock and Cody, and now temporarily that's taken away. And if he would have slipped Cody that thing in his hand, I would have been fine with that. But we didn't need the whole belt exchange the night after WrestleMania last year. We didn't need him coming out of Bad Blood. And then he could have showed up at Netflix as the goody Rock, because at that point, no one would have expected him to do anything. It would have been, it would have came and gone, and it would have been another pipe dream. But he planted seeds.
Yeah.
Even the next night on NXT, not too long ago, 20 steps ahead. And again,
we were all
like, don't forget about The Rock. Even though I'm in Hollywood, don't forget about me because I can come back at any time. It's an ego thing, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think the crowd at the Shrine for NXT really didn't buy it, maybe as much as the home audience did, because we were there, and even when he was saying what he was saying, it was still very much goody PR Dwayne than it was The Rock. So I didn't really buy into it. I did buy into it at the end of last year with the teases of Bad Blood and other things. But once he came out on Netflix, like you said, it was being the corporate guy, being the nice guy. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen now. Definitely curious.
Yeah. All right, Noah.
It is one of those things where, again, you talk about kayfabe work that kind of go hand in hand, Hollywood, wrestling, sports entertainment. But I also go back to the fact that I still have not seen what The Rock gave Cody the night after the Raw, of course, after WrestleMania last year. And that's why I'm still holding out for Rock versus Cody versus Roman in some sort of formula, whether the teasers continue to play out through WrestleMania this year or even SummerSlam, to your point, the first SummerSlam ever going to 2 nights. That's another thing to consider. I do think that we are going to get The Rock versus Cody versus Roman in some form at one of those 2 events this year. I really do. It's just a matter of how long do you keep the fans hold out? How long do you hold them in that suspension of disbelief? Because until I see Cody reveal what The Rock gave him, I'm not going to say that this was just simply washed away like something from a Moana musical while she's on the waters. And going back to Roman, there still not really is an aspect to what Roman's going to do fully at this WrestleMania. It feels like they're going to do Roman versus Seth, finally maybe renew that one-on-one that hasn't been seen since Royal Rumble a couple years ago for the title. And maybe that leads into CM Punk versus one of those two. And then CM Punk somehow gets involved in this mix. And then CM Punk maybe confronts The Rock. I do think The Rock's presence will still be felt somehow at WrestleMania, regardless whether it's after Cody or after Roman or after both, maybe on simultaneous nights. It's still suspension of disbelief for me, but I'm still holding out for it. I'm very patient. I believe that patience is a virtue. Patience is what got me as far as what I've gone so far through in life. So it's interesting, but I can see why people are getting impatient, and maybe people are like, fudge it. Okay, Jey Uso versus Gunther.
And I just hate when their plans leak and then we know what's going to happen and it's obvious. Like Jey winning the Rumble, nobody really thought that, and that was great. Like I said, there is a little issue with why he chose Gunther, and I'll talk about that soon. And if Cena is set in stone versus Cody, I'm just underwhelmed because it's already it's just the fans are smart. The dirt sheets hear this from somebody, and then that's what happens. And it just devalues it to me. It devalues everything. And wait till we get to the main event tonight and I talk about Roman Reigns. Because that to me right now, and things could change because we really don't know for sure what's going to happen with his spot at WrestleMania, but we have an idea. And oh boy, am I getting hot if it is going to go how it seems like it's going to, because it's Roman Reigns. So stay tuned for that. Walter, I'm going to come over to you now. Dwayne just kind of put some of his fans and carried over to Roman fans like me in just a hot mess because it's WrestleMania season and we underwhelmed. And it's not fair to John Cena that some of us are underwhelmed because if it is Cena's WrestleMania and run, I shouldn't feel this way. But why? It's not his fault that bigger things seemed like they were going to happen, but now they're not. What do you think, Walter?
It's not his fault, but of course people are going to get disappointed. The problem was that the fickle fans screwed us out of the match we wanted last year. That's what it was. It was the Rock and Roman should have happened last year. Because they already pivoted because of the Cody crybabies and whatever happened. Now it's like you're gonna screw us again the next year because of the Hollywood thing. So
now, Walter, to be fair,
yeah,
Triple H kind of messed up. That it might not be his fault because he didn't know they had Cody win the Royal Rumble. If there could have been some better communication with Rock and get some answers, they could have done that differently.
Yeah.
And again, it could have been a mask for the Vince stuff too. And the Rock stepped in trying to make people talk about him instead of that.
They definitely could have done that, but they also could have not killed every hope we seen. Like the Rock shouldn't have did this whole weird babyface thing he kind of did. Like he kind of killed the thing with Cody, and you should have just left that in mystery. And because you could have at any time, what if his schedule opened up or something? Then you could have pivoted right back into it, like and left it open. The fact that you kind of killed it, now you got to come up with another plan to try to revert to it or do something that makes sense. But then again, logic and wrestling don't go in the same sentence. I always say that. So, I mean, there's a will, there's a way. They'll find some kind of way to do it. But I mean, The Rock's a busy man, so let's just appreciate what we can get out of him. Father Time is undefeated, and if we have to wait one more year, like it's gonna be hard for me because it's like age is up there, and then Roman seems like maybe he don't want to do this for too much longer. He's already part time. Like, how much more legs does this really have? Like, if it's gonna keep doing it, don't get me wrong. We're always gonna love if The Rock fights Roman, or if The Rock does Cody. But like, if you keep waiting, so many things can get in the way. Injuries, anything can get in the way. So it's like you all right, let's wait, and then somebody gets hurt majorly, and it's like, damn it, now we screwed up 3 years in a row. So it's like it's almost like a now or never thing. You know what I mean?
And he could still show up and do something. Like I get that. And like obviously we're waiting no Brock Lesnar because his name's still tied to Vince McMahon, right? And they're gonna want all that stuff to be gone and done. But like the excitement of Brock showing up and kicking butt, no Rock, and then the mystery of Roman Reigns. Like I said, I feel bad for John Cena because if it is his WrestleMania one last time, I'm acting like I still need other stars. You can't carry the whole weight load, John, to make me hyped. And again, you got to remember the whole time Cena, the 10 years of his dominance, I was a Cena hater. I was like, let's see other guys get a chance. And it took me a while. Like I finally turned on that when I saw them trying to build Roman up. And I'm like, you know what? Cena, it was never his fault. He was just trying to carry the company. He was the guy they chose, blah, blah, blah. So I did change my tune on Cena, but I lived it. And I hated him and resented him for all those main events, keeping other guys out of it. So it's I don't know. What else
Brock
you
can
got?
always pull his CEO card. You know what? Brock did it right. They added him last minute to a Money in the Bank. What if the Rock just puts himself in some Money in the Bank, cashes it in, gets that title, and now you get you had Roman win it back somehow. Now he cashes in on Roman. There you go.
But the thing is, Rock
instead of cashing
Roman,
it last second, you do a full match.
But Rock and Roman doesn't need the title, and that's the whole thing about this story aspect. Last year, they already kind of were proving it was about the O'Nally family pride. But thinking about John Cena, the Desperation of John Cena showed at the post-Crescent Royal Rumble, I wouldn't mind seeing him go heel. He can't be the final boss. Maybe he calls himself the franchise and does whatever he has to do to beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and then you somehow pivot that somehow into The Rock and Cody becoming this two-man power trip somehow, them literally owning WWE for the remainder of John Cena's farewell tour, and somehow The Rock and Roman comes out of that. There's just different tangents I can see this going where The Rock can still be involved to a degree at WrestleMania, and maybe we finally get Rock versus Roman at SummerSlam. That's basically what I'm holding out. There's got to be a reason why SummerSlam's 2 nights, Virtue.
Well, that's the thing. And Gino, I'll go over to you next. SummerSlam is 2 nights. And you take some of the stars away, or sorry, that's 2 nights, but WrestleMania has been 2 nights. And I'm talking WrestleMania, and you take some of the big names out, and we know we're not going to see them. I know it gives the elevation to the other guys, but you kind of still need the stars around to be there to help elevate. And they're putting all the trust that Cody and Cena are going to be the top guys for this year's WrestleMania. And it's like, really? I mean, Roman's dominance is crazy. And I feel like I got to put some of this heat on The Rock because of the things that he teased. So what do you think, Gino?
Yeah. So having Cena and it being his last WrestleMania, like we've been saying, it's 2 nights, right? Cena's theoretically only going to wrestle in 1 match on 1 night, right? So you do need drawing power for the other night, right? So having Cena and it being his last WrestleMania can just be one of the many stories going into WrestleMania. So him being there, it's no excuse for The Rock. Oh, I'm going to put what I'm doing on the back burner. Unless Cena's going to face Roman Reigns, like The Rock versus Roman Reigns, it's still technically a possibility. Reigns isn't in the Elimination Chamber and all of this stuff. But like you said, shame on The Rock.
Or
I feel
like
like
Tito said, Gino, maybe shame on Disney.
Well, they don't really care about WWE's bottom dollar. They care about their own. So I don't blame them if they're going to get one of the world's biggest movie stars. But it feels like The Rock comes in, promotes his movie. You know, it represents, you know, the Red One was part of Bad Blood or whatever. And then as soon as Moana 2 made money, Rock just disappears. You know, he helps Netflix out for a little bit, and then he's back to what he really wants to do after he kind of saves face and his image rehabilitation with
And
getting
it worked,
fans to
you
start
know.
liking it.
Remember before his run back in wrestling last year, Black Adam's a failure. Your TV show was canceled. Rock was like, oh man, he's fallen from grace of Hollywood. And then boom, animated. You know, you could say, well, it's not Rock, it's the Disney creative and this and that. Well, I mean, there it is, Rock on the rise again, and Hollywood taking over, and he's still making bank, still pushing everything else to the side because that's his life. So it's funny. I just remember Rock haters when he was kind of like on a decline in Hollywood, and boy, things change because he's you know. And again, it's the Disney stuff that's making him popular again with the Moana or whatever. But
yeah, Moana, Jungle Cruise 2, live action and animated Moana stuff. So you know he's doing big things, which is great. But it all comes back to, well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We can't let our speculation become expectation. But then there are those people that read the dirt sheets and then they turn that into their expectation. I don't really read the dirt sheets. I kind of just watch the product and let them show me what they want to show me. And I'm still mad at The Rock, right? Whether I thought he was going to do or what I didn't think he was going to do, he's coming out here, making it all about him and then not giving us any payoff. And, you know, say what you want about long-term storytelling. Bro, this should have happened at like WrestleMania 39. And here we are on the precipice of WrestleMania 41. Like, how much longer term do we need it to be? Like, I still see a way for them to fit Roman and Rock, because right now Roman doesn't have his ticket punched to WrestleMania. I still, like, it would be baffling if they. But at the end of the day, The Rock's going to do what he wants to do. He's obviously not going to just be in a match without having trained. You know, he's gonna do those things. With WrestleMania being in Vegas, I'm more excited about the possibility of Stone Cold finally returning, because he said it numerous times. He's never going to leave the state of Nevada, and that's where WrestleMania is this year. So maybe I'll, you know, go spin it. You know, The Rock's just afraid of Stone Cold or something like that. But it is really frustrating. You know, we get our hopes up. He
did such a good job last year too. That's the thing. It's not like it was Rock coming back how he did with Cena, and it was superhero Rock and trying to be funny, and it was like literally a really good character. And we got it, and then it's gone again.
Yeah.
All right, Gino, go ahead.
He had turned heel. He embraced all of that. It was great. We were loving what we were seeing, even if he was insulting everybody in the stands and calling them, you know, crackhead Karens and all this stuff. It was great. It was wonderful. And then he just sets these things up for us to be excited about, and then we have to act like it doesn't happen. And Jeff, you said it, The Rock's old school. And the old school mentality is wrestling fans, memories suck, right? But like we've proven time and time again that that's not the case. Alexa
with this
Bliss gone
anymore.
2 years. We all get hyped up when she returned. You know, we don't forget this stuff. It matters to us, even if it doesn't seem like it matters to The Rock. I'm still go ahead.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm gonna pass it to Aaron here. I want him to.
Yeah, absolutely. Pass it, Aaron.
All right, Aaron. I'm gonna bring it over to you on this topic. Can you bring up that Michael Quinone super chat?
The super chat. Okay, so he sent in $2. He says, "Virtue, Red One has yet to break even yet."
So, and that is true at the box office. Netflix funded that movie. So in reality, that movie was funded to be a Netflix or Amazon Prime. It was on
Amazon, yeah.
Whatever,
Amazon,
it was that Amazon Prime. It was funded by them to be an exclusive there for streaming. No matter how much it cost, they wanted something that no other streaming platform had. So the fact that it did get released at theaters and it didn't do good, they took the loss because it was done for streaming because we're in that era. So that's why they paid Rock all that money. I don't think it's almost like putting $250 million into marketing. That's The Rock has so much stuff on other platforms and he's tied to WWE on Netflix. This is Amazon's move. That's what happened there. Right. So and it was a semi-decent movie for a fun little holiday.
It was cute.
I didn't expect it to be. I thought it was going to be a complete disaster, and it wasn't.
Right.
So that's your answer on that. Ain't great, but Amazon did that for a very specific reason.
All right. Thank you for that. JC13 brought up this comment. Why did they even do the angle where The Rock gave that object to Cody Rhodes? I think that was just done to plant the seeds for a potential match, and that was fine. You know what? If The Rock wasn't available this year, they did that angle. They could have brought it back at some point. They could have come back to it. I think the two big mistakes that were made here, number one was having The Rock show up at the end of Bad Blood. I think as Gino said, that's what set up the expectations for people when The Rock was out there and teased a triple threat match. He shouldn't have done that, especially if the reports were true that at that point he hadn't committed to WrestleMania. He shouldn't have teased something if he wasn't going to be able to deliver on it. It was a dick tease. It was what it was. Let's be real here. And Vince McMahon's old philosophy was you don't tease something if you can't deliver it. I think The Rock should have not shown up at Bad Blood unless WrestleMania was signed, sealed, and delivered and as close to 100% as possible. And then, of course, I think the second mistake was him killing the heat. Like, I get he wanted to come out there and not make people think he had a chance of showing up. So they did those angles with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. But I almost would have rather he just not shown up and then come back when he's ready to do a match. Because now I feel like the heat is gone. Now, this was mentioned earlier. Of course, they could build it up again. I'm sure they could come up with something. The Rock is The Rock. He could come back, attack Cody Rhodes one time, and you could build up the heat again. They can do it. I just feel like if he wasn't available for WrestleMania, he should have just stayed away, bottom line, and you wouldn't have had the unrealistic expectations for WrestleMania. That's my take on The Rock. I don't expect him at WrestleMania unless he shows up in a cameo, which he might. You guys brought up SummerSlam. Maybe that happens. It's a 2-night SummerSlam. They got to sell tickets. They got to pack the place and set records. The Rock is all about setting records. Maybe they'll do that for SummerSlam. But I think the more time that passes, the less impact that either of those matches, whether it's Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes, will have. Gino.
Yeah, and just the thing that keeps playing over and over and over in my head is Rock's got to go away for a little while. Everybody knows that. But I'm coming back for you. Like, he literally, didn't he say those exact words to Cody? It's like, no, you're not. You're coming back to drink with him for 5 minutes and give him a high five, which Cody looks like kind of a little bitch for because he got his butt kicked all up and down the country last year. And we're chilling. We're a vibe now. No big deal. Like, at least show us you guys becoming good friends. I don't know. It's just crazy.
Corporate synergy, Gino. Again, as soon as they went to Netflix, Rock became Mr. Corporate good guy, and everything as far as the big story that hasn't even started basically just got one blank page and closed the back cover.
Hey,
If I'm Netflix, I want The Rock.
Bring in
like,
Rocky
wrestling.
Starks,
There you go.
and then they could do Rocky Sucks.
Stunts.
And
He's got a history with Cody. I mean, there's that subplot.
WWE will be fine. It's disappointing, but the show goes on, and I'm sure once we get into the last month or so, the build for WrestleMania will be good. Right now, it does feel a bit lackluster. And Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Says Disney filming the live action Moana paused heel Rock.
No, I did 100%. Because I don't know how much they're doing live, how much they're motion capturing, but he's playing Maui in the live action one too. So he's a busy guy.
Yep, and Rock when he's doing well in Hollywood, he doesn't want to be the bad guy. He wants to be the hero, Rock. So he did what he did.
Yeah, he's pushing to have a ride at Disney.
Yeah,
he wants to be the future of a ride at Disney.
Jeff, you got to get us on the ride if
they have a Moana ride here in Anaheim or even in Florida, Aaron, we'll make it work, brother.
Yeah, just one last thing. The Rock announced that they were going to be making a live action Moana in April of 2023. So, I mean, it's not like he didn't know the schedule. They schedule these things out in advance because they need the space, the shooting area, the hundreds of people that work behind the scenes have to be available. So for me personally, I don't think that it's like a sudden, I have to film this movie, so let me pull back. Like, he knows.
Well, you know what though?
And he's producer on these things. He knows.
Lily makes a good point in the chat though. We had that strike last year.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So that pulled everybody out of Hollywood.
Yeah, that was
so
tough.
And we all knew once the strike was over, it was like, okay, well, everybody back to work now, including Dwayne Johnson. So
catch him on that schedule.
All right, Aaron, finish up some super chats. We can move to a little transition topic.
All right, so TJS sent in $5. Thank you, TJS. Says, do you remember when CM Punk threw Chavo Guerrero into the Gulf of America? Rock said story with Cody was just getting started, but he's nowhere. He's not getting any younger. I do not recall that angle at all.
Well, he threw him into the Gulf of Mexico before the current president changed the name.
It was in Texas, right? They were in Texas.
They were in Texas, and and since they were near Texas, and the Guerreros are from Texas, they did an angle where Punk, who had been removed as ECW champion by Chavo, thanks to Edge's group, Punk got his revenge by throwing him into the Gulf of Mexico, and that was on ECW television in 2000, whatever it was, 8 or 9. Which I
completely forgot that even happened. I
that
seem
around
to
the same
recall,
time?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't John Cena throw Edge into the same?
Long Island Sound.
Long
That's
Island
Sound,
baby.
Yeah.
the most polluted body of water in the United States, which is why it was so bad, because Edge almost caught
The
his death.
Hillsborough River
cold.
might give you a run for your money on polluted water.
I mean,
that was just what was said.
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually is or not, but that was the stat that was given at the time.
I'm pretty sure there's not really any clean water right now in the United States, especially around Flint, Michigan. That I'm sure still dealing with that issue.
Right.
Just saying.
Well, thankfully, I don't live there.
Yeah, you should be grateful, Aaron. Also, by the way, Tyler.
Politics, man.
Yeah, please.
Another thing I remember is when I think it was Hardcore Holly and Al Snow, maybe when they went into the
Mississippi River.
St. Valentine's Day. Yep.
Yeah, that was a fun one. And then, of course, when The Rock threw Steve Austin over the bridge into the water and threw the IC title over the bridge of the world title.
There we go, Walter. Top 10 moments the superstar went into a body of water.
Wait, Jeff. It was Austin threw the IC title in 97, and then in 99, The Rock threw Austin over the bridge.
And his belt.
And the smoking skull belt.
Right.
Well, see, so Rock delivers 2 years later, so let's not hold out hope.
There you go.
Long form, brother. Storytelling.
10 years later, Lita threw the title in water. I was actually there live when she did that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and then the
rated TGS thought he was trolling by saying Gulf of America, and it turned into me referencing that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice try, though, TJS. Nice try.
Yeah, nice try, bro.
All right. Virtue is the final boss sent in a $10 super chat. Not sure if that's Virtue's burner or not, but nonetheless, thank you, Virtue is the final boss.
I'm not going to pay you. It hurts me to give you $1.99 once in a while.
There you go.
Every dollar counts, especially
that's
in the economy.
That's right.
Right.
We thank you. We thank you at home.
Well, the economy is allegedly better now, so there you go.
Oh, yeah.
You can afford the $10. Flights are not cheap, though. I know that much.
No, they are not. No,
they aren't.
God.
Yeah.
Some of our
what was the super chat? I didn't even see it.
Oh, the super chat. Yes, Virtue is the final boss. Sent in a $10 super chat. Says Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk doesn't move me. The final boss should have shown up and taken Jay's spot on SmackDown like they did with Cody.
Nice. Yeah, we'll talk about Roman Reigns here in the main event tonight. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would prefer a singles match. Virtue, you brought up John Cena. It's all predictable, him versus Cody.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on that. I almost would like to see CM Punk win the Chamber because they teased Cody versus Punk a couple times now.
Yes.
I feel like there's some
Cena
bad
could get
blood
SummerSlam. He could get the title match at
Exactly.
SummerSlam.
That's John
They'll
Cena.
go for 17, and that's kind of his show. Yeah, it's just anything to make the dirt sheet rumors wrong.
I like Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins as a singles match, but
Yes.
we'll talk more about that later. The triple threat,
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer singles matches personally. But anyways, Virtue, before we go to you, Walter.
The problem with that comment is you fickle sons of bitches will then have an issue when Rock takes it away from Jay. Why did you take it away from Jay? There's never any pleasing anybody.
Look, Walter, you can't please everybody, but you could always irate anybody. And I'm sure that in the main event, that will definitely come across in the chat. But I always believed in WrestleMania, the biggest story should be singles matches. I've always thought John Cena is more, related to SummerSlam, despite the fact his record's been crap. So, again, we'll see. But 2 years now, CM Punk and Cody have had these confrontations prior to the Rumble. Talk about, I'm going to beat you in the main event of WrestleMania. Where is it at? I'm supposed to hold out now for the Chamber where John Cena's so damn desperate to win that we're going to get John Cena versus Cody. Maybe Cody goes Homelander. Or are we finally going to see CM Punk finally get what he came back to W for in the first place?
All set.
All right. Let's move on.
Man.
All right, so transition topic. It's a fit. We kind of hinted at this last week because we all anticipated it. Jey already chose Gunther. Now, I don't mind Jey winning the Royal Rumble if they wanted to really pick somebody that would swerve people. But the problem is with two-title system, you got a guy winning the Royal Rumble, and with all due respect to Gunther in that title, and even Seth Rollins trying to build that up. I know Damian Priest had it too. It's the B title to Cody's title because that's the one Roman had. That's the one that the Universal title was merged with. And Cody's now running on a long streak. And for Jey not to go for the prize, the one that Roman held. Like if Jey wants to move up the bloodline, and it's crazy that that's how WWE booked it. And I just not a fan of Jey and Gunther. Not Jey winning. I'm fine with that, the Royal Rumble. But I felt like you should have just went with him and Cody at that point, or had him choose Cody and then throw someone in there as a triple threat, which I know seems kind of convoluted, but then you could have someone else in that match. Anybody want to speak on this? I mean, we knew it was going to happen. Gino, I'll start with you first. It's kind of a disrespect to the WWE title because the winner of the Rumble should always choose the biggest title. And that's the problem when you have two titles. Yeah. You're going to, from time to time, have someone win it that has to challenge the other title belt. And it's just ugh. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, and I'm just going to keep this short and sweet. I said it before, Gunther doesn't even feel like the biggest deal on his own show, Monday Night Raw. Cody Rhodes absolutely does. Whether you're friends or not, shouldn't matter. It should be about having the opportunity to main event.
Did you say Cody Rhodes feels like the biggest heel?
No. Gunther. No. Just as the biggest star or the
star.
The most important person on the show. Gotcha. Cody feels like that on SmackDown. Gunther feels like third, fourth, fifth fiddle on Raw. Sometimes he doesn't even show up. Yeah. Which whatever. He's a hard worker. He does that. But because it's personal, isn't a good enough reason for me. You've got a free shot, a free opportunity at either champion. Oh, it's personal. I'm gonna fight the other guy. No, main event WrestleMania with your friend. Just it is what it is.
All right, thanks.
You're not wrong.
All right, go ahead, Jeff.
He's not.
Yeah, it's I feel like it sucks for Jey because you win the Rumble, you're coming off of being in the bloodline angle for all those years and kind of being the guy that Roman was grooming to be the next top guy. I know Solo had that little run, but that was kind of a heel thinking he was the guy. And then you're going for Gunther because he beat you already. And then you don't go for Cody and we can't because John Cena is going to get that spot. I just hate I absolutely hate that. And it has nothing to do with Jey winning the Royal Rumble.
Nope.
No.
There are so many this isn't the big bad word. There's so many bullshit reasons why people are arguing with this. Like, okay, so Jey shouldn't be the face of the company. Okay. So then why is he in the Rumble? Why is he winning the Rumble? Oh, well, he won the Rumble, but he should challenge Cody. Well, why? Why does Jey choosing Cody have to be the thing? The Rumble winner is choosing the champion he feels championship he wants to win. So there's so much convoluted crap. Like you said, Virtue, the problem is the 2 world title system. That's why I never liked when they split the title back in 2002, or split the brands and they created the original World Heavyweight Championship back in 2002. It felt lesser than even then. Like, great example, the 2 title matches the following year at WrestleMania. Triple H versus Booker T. We can all agree that was one of the worst booked builds in world champion match history going into a WrestleMania. The other side was Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. Other than Brock's misstep on the Shooting Star Press, one of the best stories and matches we've had at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Other side of that, the World Championship Triple Threat at WrestleMania 20 was a phenomenal story. Whereas Angle and Eddie kind of felt like, okay, we're resorting to low-hanging fruit as far as the story was built. But the match was awesome. It doesn't have to be lesser than. This one feels lesser than because as Michael Wayne said, the really hardcore, obnoxious IWC community members, they're not happy if they have something to bitch about. I just want to kind of sit back and go, okay, now we know what's going to happen. We've got, 6 weeks, 7 weeks? Let's see what happens. Let's adopt this man's philosophy. Just sit back, enjoy life, and enjoy your wrestling. For the love of God, people. What are we doing?
Hey, you know what? Fans are allowed to have criticism, and I think they should.
Yes.
But sometimes they will just complain about anything. So I mean, back in the day we were complaining, and then Road Dogg and some of our critics would say, if you don't like it, don't watch it, just enjoy it, blah blah blah. And I feel like we were very validated with our criticisms back then. And now I don't know. I feel like, with Jey Uso, people are just, for whatever reason, some of them, a vocal minority, don't like the Yeet, and they don't like his in-ring work. They're calling the match with Jimmy Uso the worst WrestleMania match of all time. They're calling Jey the worst Royal Rumble winner of all time. And I'm like, Alberto Del Rio, Vince McMahon, hello. I mean, there's far worse Royal Rumble winners than Jey Uso. And I was there. Like, when we said, John Cena winning when half the crowd is booing him, like, you can make that argument that you're turning off some paying customers and maybe they weren't selling out some of their shows. But look at that Royal Rumble. I was there. 70,000 people in the building. It was jam-packed. One of their highest grossing events of all time. Jey won, and you look at the numbers for Raw. They're packing the arenas for Raw. Like, every week, it's pretty much a full arena for Raw. And that's something they haven't really done on a regular basis, going back to the Attitude Era. Like, WWE continues to be hot. And the whole goal of wrestling is to build stars. And if somebody's hot, you push them. That's what you do. When somebody's selling merchandise, you push them. So you might not like Jey Uso. He might not be your cup of tea. You might think he's a bad wrestler, but he's moving the numbers. He's entertaining the masses. He's a showman. Wrestling is about showmanship. It's not about the moves you do in the ring. It's about connecting with the audience and getting them to be invested in your character to the point where they spend money and attend the shows and buy the merchandise.
But, like, let me give you, for instance, for Jey choosing Gunther, they just had Gunther come out and beat him up. Oh, okay, it's you. When last year you could have done something and made it even more personal. Like, look what Rock did to Cody. That set up the tag match, beat him up at his bus. Now I'm not, just imagine Gunther planting some fans and having Gunther beat them up because they were eating, and that it hasn't been creative. It's like they're just going through the motions. So, like, Gunther just came out and beat up Jey, and then Jey, I'm choosing you. There's just no creativity to that. Like,
Yeah.
to
That's
choose
the correct
Gunther over
choice.
Cody. Cody, that's the more prestige. That's where I'll disagree with you, Jeff. It still matters to me. The more prestigious title is clearly Cody's because Cody finished the story, ended Roman's dominant streak, and for Jey not to choose that kind of makes Jey laughing stock. And it sucks for Gunther because if WWE booked him stronger as the world champion, make him look super dominant, I could maybe see Jey taking that more into consideration. They could have done this better. Everybody's praising Triple
100%.
H. It could have just
Gunther-
been done with more feeling, more not just like going through the motions to set up WrestleMania matches.
And Virtue.
Yeah.
Virtue. Gunther lost to Cody Rhodes, so it's already been established that of the two champions, Cody's the better champion.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
And
Good
if your
point.
main event, Jey Uso, you want the main event, and we all damn well know Cody's the main event and not Gunther.
So
I feel like they have to put Gunther and Jey as the main event night one now. I feel like they have to do that at the
Just to
very
try and
least.
justify the importance of the championship and
Exactly.
the Royal Rumble win. There's
It's
also
going to get very convoluted soon
They're
about
gonna
what they're
open
going to
night
do.
one, I
real
guarantee
quick.
it.
yeah. Well, I mean, the World Heavyweight Championship opened up night, was it 1 or was it 2? But 2.
it
thank
opened
you.
night 2.
Yeah, it opened up night
2
2
last year, and it was a great thing because they had
Yeah.
Punk cost Rollins right after that, and it sent Damian Priest to the championship. The problem, you know what? The problem is it's not a bad problem to have. You've got so many main event guys that you can't like narrow it down. And to the chat room's point, we all clamored for Gunther to be the world champion, and he got it, and now he's been booked like just another guy on the roster.
Yeah.
Much like what happened to MJF and AEW.
Yeah, it
He
just
wanted to be the
hasn't.
champion, and he
it-
got it. And
it
then he
just
became
hasn't
mid
hit.
as hell.
It just hasn't hit like that IC title run. And like
Yeah.
I said,
Bingo.
him losing to Cody, I wasn't a fan of them doing that match because then you
No.
make one world champion look inferior to the other. And now Gunther's the secondary
idea.
world champion.
Yep.
He's clearly not the champion. And,
I still say Gunther should have won that night, that Super Bowl ring, because Cody right
Problem
now
you
is on
cheapened
another
the
level.
choice. By making Gunther go out there and beat him up and forcing Jey to choose him, now you cheapened it. Like you could have
Yep.
told, like Virtue said, you could have told a story out of it, gave him a reason as to why he chose that title over Cody. Like even if it was a respect thing, and like they kind of teased it on SmackDown where he said, I could choose to stand side by side with you in the title. You could have did that as a story later, but now you cheapened it by having Gunther attack Jey and making it do that. Like I feel like the best like choice story they did of a Rumble winner was when Undertaker did that, when he had the 3 champions in the ring and he did
Yep.
and then he just
Yep.
chose one and did that. That was you could have did that was better.
Well-
You could have did something like that.
And then Walter, Jay's on Raw, Gunther's a champion on Raw, so it's like, oh, had to do it that way because he's the champion on Raw. We don't want to make
But it's
things
so
weird
dumb.
because Cody's on SmackDown.
It's so dumb, Virtue, because they've shown that the Rumble winner can pull that loophole card like Benoit did, like
Yeah.
The Undertaker did. You know, they have the opportunity. They just creative is so much better than it was 10 years ago, but they're not perfect like
Yeah.
the WWE diehards will have you believe.
But you know what? Sometimes you have to change things on the fly. I feel like The Rock might have messed things up going back
Could
to
be.
earlier.
And
this
shame
was
on
their
him
plan
again
B.
then for it.
But
Well,
still
sir.
suspension disbelief on that.
You got some more on this topic because I didn't really go to you, but I know you just spoke. You have anything to add?
Nah, that was pretty much it. I
Okay.
just wish they didn't cheapen it. Like make his choice seem important. There's got to be a reason he chose Gunther over
Yeah, he got
Cody.
power bombed
Even
twice.
if he went out there and said,
And a pull
I
part.
have
yeah.
to prove to myself I can beat you. Like even if you did something simple like that, it was like, look, I had this many title opportunities against you, and you beat
Dude,
me.
beat him
I
up
have
and
to prove
yeah,
to- I have
beat
to
him up
prove it to
backstage in
myself.
front of Jay. Does Jay have kids or who are those kids that were hanging around
Yeah,
Jay?
yeah, his
That
kid
was
out
Jay's
there.
Beat him up
kid.
in front of his kids out in the concession
Should
stand.
have
or
thrown
what.
the jacket at his son.
Like you
Yeah.
did to
Yeah.
Sammy right in front of his
Yeah.
family.
Just
Exactly.
make it more personal. And I know they still could, but you should have done it before to give him the reason why he chose him, and he wasn't even going to think Cody at that point. All right, thanks, Walter. Noah, over to you.
Well, again, you all know how I feel when it comes to the big goal, but the 2-belt system, what did Undertaker say during the Hall of Fame? Perception is reality. The perception of the championship is based on the champion, and the perception of that champion is based on the caliber of challengers and the story told with each. You think about Gunther's run since he won the title from Damian Priest last year at SummerSlam. He faced Finn Balor, he faced Jey Uso, he faced Cody, a non-title for a Super Bowl-esque ring, probably cheaper than the Super Bowl, and lost that. And that was probably the one loss that Gunther did not need, that really deficit the importance and the value of his run with this title. Also, this mystique around Gunther that WWE has created. He's been champion now for over 80% of his career. So almost anybody next to Gunther from a casual's perspective is like, this guy's not going to win. But anybody that follows WWE that knows that Jey Uso lost to him at Saturday's main event, why are we running it back this soon? You think about the build with Sami Zayn and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship and how much more was put into that for getting that moment and stopping the longest running Intercontinental Champion in WWE history. There's not even 10% of that type of booking put into this, what's supposed to feel like a WrestleMania main event. It's baffling. I still hold out that I would love to just see Gunther have an exhibition with Ilya Dragunov, because I still think that Cody, at this point, after that reception with Kevin Owens, should be a bit more heelish, desperate, hungry, and this friendship with Jey. Okay, so I'm battling my friend. Well, guess what? Sometimes battling your friends brings out the worst in each other, and it also brings out a better story and better competition. I would have loved to see Jey Uso take on a homelander as Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania while the Chamber decides Gunther's opponent. Because at this point, I'd rather see Gunther face Logan Paul.
Thank you, Noah. All right, Aaron, back to you. I know you kind of already spoke on this, but I know you got super chats to do.
All right, yeah, let's get to the super chats here. We got quite a few, so thank you to everybody that sent in super chats. First of all, Psycho Jet Black sent in $2 and said, "Who's more of a credible champion, Gunther or Jon Moxley?"
It depends if you look at.
I think Gino's reply to Psycho is more wild than the super chat. That's tremendous.
I would take the B title in WWE over AEW any day. I know I'm not trying to, but just the way it's been perceived.
Well, let Noah answer, because Noah of all of us,
let's see what he says.
Still on the AEW bandwagon. Go ahead, Noah.
Well, I'm just on wrestling's bandwagon because I just want to see the industry thrive everywhere.
Absolutely.
And AEW is still a young player. It still has a lot to grow up to do, but I figured maybe a little bit too late in some aspects, including this title that we haven't seen since Bryan Danielson had a Warrior's death and Wrestle Dream. But I always will take Big Gold, even Big Gold 2.0 over the 4-time AEW World Champion, where each run felt a little bit less important because in case of emergency, Jon Moxley. No discredit to Jon Moxley, but without that creativity behind the importance of the belt, you've made the belt feel even less now than ever, to the point that Jon Moxley's not even showing it on television. So Gunther.
All right, there you have it. Thank you for that, Noah. Appreciate it. Let's see here. We got one from Mr. Penguin, who sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Penguin. Says, "I would like this idea if Drew McIntyre won Money in the Bank, especially if Jey Uso will probably win the belt at WrestleMania. I think Drew McIntyre winning Money in the Bank would be very interesting." I mean, that's a good idea, because if Jey Uso wins and Cody Rhodes retains, even if John Cena beats Cody Rhodes, you got two babyface champions.
Yep.
I definitely think you would want to have a heel win Money in the Bank, and Drew McIntyre would be a good choice. Gino?
Didn't Drew win it last year and cash in the same night?
He did.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to go back to back. I personally see
Edge
Cena.
and Punk won 2 Money in the Banks, didn't they?
Yeah, he did.
They did.
Sure. Was it? I don't recall it.
Well,
being
Edge didn't
back-to-back,
win
but
2.
like-
Edge didn't win 2, but didn't he get Kennedy's?
He
Or what
yeah,
happened?
he took
He had
Kennedy's.
Kennedy's
Yeah.
after WrestleMania 23, but Punk
Yep.
did do 2 back-to-back, I believe.
Mhm. And that was a very Stone Cold winning the Rumble year after year type of thing. Like that was because Punk was like kind of being held down, and he needed to do that to get the opportunity. But I personally see Cena as the Money in the Bank winner, and that's how he's going to get his 17th championship. So I don't see him winning at
Ooh.
WrestleMania. I don't see him. He's going to put people over until it's time. That's
I
what
don't
I
know if you
think.
see Cena as a 2-time Money in the Bank winner. That's interesting, Gino.
And think about this time,
Wow.
though, Cena actually being a heel while winning it.
Which,
Mhm.
if Gino's right, and that happens, CM Punk's got an opportunity to still face
Sure
Cody
does.
Rhodes.
Sure
Yeah,
does.
I mean,
Aaron, back to you.
I really would like to see CM Punk win Elimination Chamber at this point, even though I'm not a fan of John Cena losing a lot on this last run. I mentioned this from the get-go. Like I thought like he should be booked really strong. I feel like they should save John Cena at this point. Let CM Punk get that main event spot. I feel like there's some heat with Cody that's already been brewing. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. It's kind of just like Superman versus Superman.
Mhm.
Is Cena going to pass the torch, or is he going to win 17? I don't know.
Boy,
Cena's
who's
king of the ring.
Superman? Who's
There you
Batman?
go.
Who's Superman? Who's Batman in that case?
I guess Cody Rhodes is Batman. I don't know.
Like the only interesting, like if Cena won the Elimination Chamber and decide, like, you know how everybody wants heel Cena and he never really went to that side, but like, could you imagine if he won it and then cut the hair down a little bit so we didn't really see the ball, and he went back to the rap gimmick for that run against Cody as the pseudo heel, even if he wasn't really truly all heel, and then we got a lot of that could spice it up a little bit, maybe.
He said he has a new Fiend written, so I imagine that's probably for the purpose. And
But you know, to kind of do that one last time during his final year, I would, you know, and again, there's still time. If they did something like that, I would open up to that match a little bit more. But what's the chances that Cena's going to get away from the, you know, superhero Cena?
Something has to give at the first ever 2-night SummerSlam, and I feel it has to evolve either Rock or John Cena at this point. There's a reason it's 2 nights for the first time, and you got to make it something extremely special for a first. Especially if it's going to be that going forward, because it seems like the WWE model now is almost turning the big 4 or 5, whatever you want to call it, into 2-night extravaganzas, which is beyond ridiculous.
Yep.
Financially, it is for us.
All right, Aaron.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Appreciate it. Says, I can never imagine someone like Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble 10 years ago when it felt like only one person was allowed to be a main event star. Well, I didn't expect Jey Uso to win 2 years ago, 1 year ago, this year. Like it was definitely a surprise. None of us picked him in the predictions league, and I like that they did something different and they surprised us. But I hope they do that with the Chamber now too. I hope we got some more twists and turns.
Yeah.
There was some interview from one of the TKO guys that he said that there might be a surprise at Elimination Chamber. I don't know if that means anything or if he's just not up to speed, but it'd be cool if we got something we weren't expecting at Elimination Chamber and they got some more twists and turns for us.
I would like that.
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you for that. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Hamp. Appreciate it. Hamp says, if WWE had the balls to let Kevin Owens win the ladder match when he had a lot of momentum, it would have been cool to get Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the WWE title. Well, Virtue, we talked about this. That would never be the main event, though, for WrestleMania. I don't think they would put that in there.
If that was the world title scenario, absolutely. The B World Championship, absolutely.
Aaron?
Not for the big prestige prize that the WWE.
I don't really think they need it anyways. Like, I think they got enough history where just them in the ring sells itself. Jeff?
Yeah. Exactly.
I think their story is a main event without a championship being involved in there. Like, I know the championship is.
Are they going at Mania? Or are they going to splooge it and do it at Elimination Chamber?
I don't know yet. After Sami Zayn was taken out on Monday Night Raw, and KO basically said that my friend stood there while this man tried to end my career, and you also went to help him Reigns. But it sounds like to me, especially because Elimination Chamber's in Canada, I can see this being an exhibition one-on-one match at Elimination Chamber.
I don't know. Even if it's not main event, I give those guys a match at Mania, man. They were so pivotal to WrestleMania 2 years ago. They're the main event in night one. I think they've both earned a WrestleMania.
Where are we throwing Randy Orton at? He can't miss WrestleMania.
That's a valid point too. We haven't heard
that's a good point
Randy
too.
Orton at all.
So maybe they do KO and Sammy at the Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton comes back, whether or not KO beats Sammy or not. That's how you get Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
I don't know. I feel like KO and Sammy is a WrestleMania match. I don't know where Randy Orton fits in, but I guess we'll find out.
He cost John Cena the Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, that's the surprise.
Run that back. There you go.
If John Cena doesn't win
Full
the Chamber,
heel Randy Orton.
Boom! You got John Cena versus Randy
The
Orton
legend
at
killer.
WrestleMania.
Yes,
the rivalry that never ends.
He's going to end John Cena's career at WrestleMania.
Legend killer, the legend.
Career-threatening match.
Beautiful.
I like it. All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says Virtue versus Mike Peters, my brother-in-law, in a WrestleMania 41 money on a pole match.
Well, he might be getting a $20 Applebee's gift card if Rock doesn't win the title at WrestleMania, and I don't think it's going to. I definitely think that's not happening at this point.
Oh, there you go.
Except I won't give it to him. I'll just give Aaron $20 and Aaron can buy it for him and say it's from me.
All right, there you go. Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Says, why didn't Jey Uso go to NXT to confront Obafemi? Good point, because you had Charlotte going to NXT, and I don't know. That's a very
he's a
valid
fucking
point.
beast.
Maybe he's just
Yeah,
scared.
he doesn't want to Obafemi. That's why.
Yeah, Jey Uso wants no part of Obafemi.
But if it's a third brand, it should be considered, as Charlotte Flair considered, the NXT Women's Championship.
Yep, true.
Well, didn't the Women's Royal Rumble winner challenge for the NXT title once?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Charlotte
So they got that
Flair.
precedent.
Yep.
The men's they just don't do that. They challenge for the world title on the main roster.
Jay looked at Oba and just went, "No yeet."
Yeah, no yeet.
Walked away. That's what that was.
No
Virtue.
Virtue, I'm sure you would like this one. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, imagine Brock Lesnar coming back and destroying
after
Jey
Jey
Uso.
wins it.
Uso Mania 2.0.
I mean, at least give him the length of a run that Cody had, or that Kofi had before it happened.
8 seconds.
9. He'll beat him in 9 seconds.
Like I said, I don't mind Jey. Like I'm not like devastated that Jey won the Royal Rumble like some people are. It's just there's other things, because like choosing Gunther, that not really feeling like there was a good reason, like, and not going after the. They made the WWE title so prestigious, but now all of a sudden it's not. Jey doesn't want it. It's just that's just weird to me.
It's a weird
and again, that's they put themselves in that pigeonhole because having 2 titles and then winning the Royal Rumble, like you're right, you can't always have them choose the WWE title. Like I get it, and I guess this is them proving that. Like that's why Jey won, so we can have a challenger for the other title and try to make that seem a little important.
The other thing is Seth Rollins created that the title was created in Seth Rollins' presentation to get a working defending champion while Roman was off taking his multiple vacations. But since Seth dropped that title, it has not been near as, I guess, prestigious is the right word. I don't know, but even with Priest, even with Gunther, it hasn't felt as important as it did when Seth was champion for that year.
Didn't Seth defend it a lot? Like maybe
a lot
on Raw and on pay-per-view.
Which is why he went into Mania hurt last year, because he was wrestling so damn much.
All right, we got a $2 super chat here from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you, Psycho, for the super chats. It says, Walter, are you trying to grow Wolverine beard?
I was trying, but it ain't really working because there's a Comic-Con in August, and she wants me to go as Wolverine while she goes as Deadpool. So I was trying to do it, but I don't know. I might just go back. But let me see. I got till August.
Well, careful, because we don't want any cease and desists from Marvel for the Wolverine beard. Just saying. If you know, you know. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Psycho. Appreciate it. Says, the surprise at Elimination Chamber will be the return of Alberto Del Rio, Jinder Mahal, Brodus Clay, and Ryback, forming a new League of Nations.
Oh, I gave you $5 for that one. Wow.
I'm gonna say the fact that he increased his super chat amount to troll at that level, that is next. That is above. Good on you.
That's commitment to the gimmick right there.
That's commitment to the bit. Exactly. Bravo.
Dude, we got. I mean, this is a pretty lit review with super chats, and I think we're teasing triple digits on the viewers. Like
something like that.
WrestleMania season. Yeah, Ricky Starks is a thumbnail. That's why.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Center of the front.
Absolutely
important.
All right, Psycho Jet Black. Thank you, Psycho. Sent in a $5 super chat. Seriously, what if Randy Orton returns and wins the Elimination Chamber, turns heel, faces Cody Rhodes to WrestleMania, and wins, tying the record? How would he get in? He would have to take it from somebody, right?
Like Edge did from Kofi Kingston.
I was going to say Edge did from Kofi Kingston.
What if he took it from John Cena and then Cena has to come?
How many times does Cody need it to, or not Cody, Randy? Cena's got 16. How many does Orton have?
Randy's got
he needs 2.
13, 14?
Yeah, he's at 14, right?
So that means he would need, that's just, okay. Well, I was going to say, could Randy win it enough before Cena? But you can't do that.
Wait a minute.
So Randy, so Cena can beat the record, and then Randy can get 18. And then remember how Cena said, "So I can be the guy that shakes the hand that gets 18."
No, Virtue, because it's not 1999 in WWF anymore. We can't have 8 title changes in a single year.
Well, hey Siri, How many times has Randy Orton been world champion?
Oh my
It's
lord!
After
14. I looked it
shilling the
up.
product on the air. Listen,
If
to
it
him.
was 15, you could say, ooh, but yeah, even
Goodness.
then, you can't hop the
14.
Tatum.
14. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
I-
Yeah.
Oh,
that's not-
so okay, so Siri officially confirms it.
But with that said, within a few year period, they can make that happen, and then Cena comes in to shake Randy's hand, who's 18. Think about that. Cena could get 17, and before he retires, Randy could get 18. Although, you know, that some fans could be pissed about having some short title reigns to make that happen.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
All
It'd be
right.
refreshing because we don't get it that often with the world title. So
Virtue is the final boss. Sent in a $2 super chat. Says, will R ever go out of business like
AEW.
WCW
He meant
2000?
AEW.
AEW.
Himself.
Well, no, because WCW back then didn't have TV companies throwing, multi-millions of dollars at them for rights fees that could help Tony not have to spend as much out of his pocket. So it's completely different. So
Yeah.
content, right? It doesn't matter. Even if you're only hitting 500,000-600,000 viewers, it's still content, right? And they
Yeah.
pay for that content. AEW is content for TNT and TBS.
And
Yep.
their cell phone. It's not like Turner's trying to purposely get rid of a division of their company by the way they're booked.
Yeah. They're
And now
good
they're
for
bringing
now.
and now they're bringing their content into streaming
Yeah.
services, Max
So
and
that's why it won't
Amazon.
happen.
So they're
There you
expanding.
go.
Yeah, AEW is good for several years. So we'll come back to that topic when they're up for renewal. Anyways, Virtue, I think on that note, we're ready
All right.
for the last topic.
Roman Reigns, it's WrestleMania season, and Roman Reigns is literally out temporarily on an injury angle because if we don't see him as part of this Elimination Chamber match, it's because they don't want him to lose because he's not going to be the one to face Cody. Even though back around Bad Blood, they tease like Cody and Roman 3 are going to happen at some point. That's another thing this whole Rock debacle created. Roman, like he could still get another shot. What the hell is going on with Roman Reigns? This is the guy that is your WrestleMania main event. And for him to have just a one-on-one match against Rollins, a one-on-one match against Punk, I'm intrigued because of Heyman's involvement. A triple threat with those three. Give me some stipulation. Like, it's almost WrestleMania, like the run to WrestleMania. And we have no idea. Roman's not going to have, to me, the biggest match of the show, and he should. It's absolutely insane. And like I'm losing my shit, and Triple H could get some big flack for me if I'm underwhelmed with Roman Reigns' freaking match at WrestleMania. I just am going out of my mind that he's playing along with it too. The cover of the video game, like something good between now and the Raw and SmackDown after Elimination Chamber better freaking happen, because I know everybody has their favorite matches at WrestleMania. Right now, mine's going to be Roman's match, and what I think it could be based on our knowledge right now. I'm underwhelmed by every one of them. Again, the Punk and Roman one-on-one could be intriguing because of Heyman. This is where I would like Lesnar to show up, and let's create a triple threat with the Heyman guys. Anything. A career-threatening match, Aaron. I don't care. Roman Reigns needs to be the biggest key factor for WrestleMania because that's what he is, has been, and Triple H not like making it happen. Oh, let's take the year off to give it to, again, it's because Cena. It's the year of Cena one last time. Everybody is taking a back seat. If I remember correctly, Roman beat Cena the last couple times they faced each other. He's a bigger deal than Cena. Gino, I'm going to start with you. I'm getting infuriated that we're this far into the game and Reigns is out from a curb stomp. Seth Rollins, he's proved like what? Because they were in the Shield. Now it makes sense for them to feud again. It's just late. To me, this is lazy booking to pass the time because Dwayne can't do anything. And Cena's last year. It's mind blowing that Reigns is getting treated as a B player. Absolutely mind blowing. But anyway, go ahead, Gino. That's just my opinion. He should be the top of WrestleMania. He should be the middle of the poster. Whatever. Go ahead.
You're absolutely right.
But what's the plans for Roman Reigns? That's what we're talking about.
And let's get into it. He's main evented WrestleMania how many times in a row, setting records,
nine
doing
closing matches at least, I think. Maybe 10, I don't remember.
He is the main event of WrestleMania. He's the new Mr. WrestleMania almost, if you want to go there. But you said, him versus Rollins, there's some credence to a match of that magnitude happening at WrestleMania. Oh, but then Seth Rollins is kind of feuding with Finn as of last night. So I guess Roman Reigns is. I guess they're not doing that. If knowing what we know now, if The Rock really wasn't going to do all this, like I'd almost rather have had The Rock like versus Cody on the first Netflix and saved Roman for versus Solo for the Ula Fala for Mania. Now that match has already happened, so you can't kind of fall back on the bloodline versus bloodline stuff. The only thing that really makes sense is the only other guy who we feel want to see in the main event is CM Punk. So the only thing that would make sense is saving Reigns for CM Punk, but there's only 2 matches that main event the nights of WrestleMania. So we're all trying to do mental gymnastics to try to figure out how does who fit where for how many whatevers. And it gets frustrating. Like you said, it's almost infuriating, right? If you're not going to do Roman versus Cody, the rubber match, which there's credence for that being a main event caliber match. If you're not going to do Roman versus Solo for the Ula Fala, because that's already happened, Jacob Fatu versus Roman, I don't know if that's the main event because Roman's MIA for the better part of last year and this year, to be honest. And that's fine. You know, he's earned his break. He's been the workhorse guy for 4, 5, 6, for 10 years now. But WrestleMania season, all hands should be on deck. There should be all the possibilities should be on the table. Remember how star-studded this Royal Rumble was? And now it kind of feels like they gave us that because they're not going to give us the glory of having what we want to see at WrestleMania. And that kind of backfired in WrestleMania 39. Everybody left the arena absolutely not happy because of the result. I mean, I'm sure if you were there, Virtue, you left pretty happy because Roman Reigns ended up winning. But it's all just snowball effect, and it's all dominoes falling in the wrong direction. And I'm hoping they find a way to give Roman his just deserves as well, because he doesn't deserve to open the show. He doesn't deserve to middle the card. He deserves the main event. Until somebody
the main event, not just against somebody, it needs to have something. It needs to be a
story,
big
build, anything substantive to help that. I mean, granted, there are matches where even with the teases and the zero build that they've done, you know, you can fall back on a Roman versus Seth because of all the history there, and you don't have to put too much build. But again, they're teasing him with Finn, okay, and then they're kind of going CM Punk versus Cody. So like, unless Brock Lesnar comes back and or something, like it's so foggy. The future for what we're gonna Roman Reigns' future should be a little bit more clear cut.
Like I'm seriously sitting here right now. Somebody earlier said, "Yeah, Rock ain't showing up." Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're the one
but
that made
seriously,
it a
I'm
topic.
not talking about
I'm
talking about the Rock. I'm talking about Roman Reigns. And right now, I'm sitting here pushing Rock aside, expecting that he's not going to show up, saying that I want Roman Reigns in that title match somehow against Cody Rhodes night 2, even if you got to have a multiple person match, because he's the biggest thing WrestleMania's had the last several years. And to me, when we get this card and it's John Cena or it's anything else and Roman's just in some weird main event for night 1 or whatever it is, I'm going to kind of say shame on Triple H. Roman Reigns needs to be in those stakes as long as he can, because they've already built it up. But let's sidestep. Let's and his character would want that. His character wouldn't settle for a crappy feud match night 1. So I don't know. Maybe if we can get some twists and turns, and next thing you know, well, even if it takes a triple threat night 2, I'll take it to get Roman Reigns build for the main match at WrestleMania again. If we're in the first week of March and everyone's like, Virtue, it happened, I'm going to be great. But if it's just a mediocre feud, there better be something great about it, because right now, what all these rumors or what we speculate, it just sounds like shit.
Yep. I'm good to pass it off to the next panelist. Yeah.
Well,
I really liked your idea that if the triple threat goes on, the winner gets added to night 2 main event and gets the title. That was a good idea that you put in the chat. So, I mean, I don't know. Roman should be. He's like super main event now. You have to have him. Like, It goes back to The Rock. I just feel like the plans was The Rock, and the fact that this changed, they have to keep pivoting, and it's no fault of
Yeah.
their own. It's whatever The Rock had to do, because I really feel like at the Rumble, if Roman would have won and The Rock would have came back, you could have did the reverse of Philly. Like, he would have held his hand and then beat him up instead of what he did in Philly. But I think everything just got screwed up. But there's no way that Roman cannot be in the main event. So your idea was perfect. You have that Seth, Roman, and CM Punk, and whoever wins gets added to night 2 to whoever gets the other title shot
Something.
because of
Just
the win with the
something.
Elimination Chamber. You kind of like have to do that. And if you do that and Punk wins, he went from 0 main events to 2 in one WrestleMania. So I mean,
Dude, if
you get
it
that
was
too.
Roman versus Punk versus Rollins night 1, where the winner would get inserted, it's if Cena won the Elimination Chamber, where the winner would get inserted into the triple threat night 2 with Cena and Cody, and Punk won, I would be fine with that, because Roman would be headlining night 1 in a match that meant something, and Punk to put Punk over in that instance, and then, but if Punk went on to night 2 to win it all over Cena and Cody, that to me would be like, I would be fine with something like that.
Hey, Virtue, here's an idea. Because Roman Reigns could potentially be screwed out of Elimination Chamber, what if after Chamber, Roman comes back and says, I got screwed out of my opportunity, and he pulls some strings, but then CM Punk's like, well, wait a minute, I'm going to use my favor now, and they somehow use that to set up a match where the winner gets added to the world title. I mean,
I would take it. Like, I feel like they need to have that somehow. Like, just to have Cena win it and get the one-on-one shot against Cody, hero versus hero. And I know there's an audience for that, but I mean, Cena doesn't work as great as he used to. And to have a classic main event one-on-one match with Cody where people are going to overly criticize it, maybe it is best to have that a triple threat so there could be some protection for Cena. Just saying. And maybe Cena doesn't even get into that spot. Maybe something else, he gets in another feud for his match, and then his big thing gets pushed to SummerSlam. Yeah. We'll find out.
Yeah, there's no way you could not have Roman in a main event, though. It's like he's, what was it, 8, 9? What did you guys say? How many?
I think I counted 8 because I was counting since WrestleMania 30.
Well, last year he got credit for 2, night 1 and 2.
Fair enough. Then it would be 9.
Yeah, see? Like, there's no way he
so,
cannot.
I mean, even if he has night 1 main event, that'll be 10. Bam, 10 show closers. But I mean, it's technically not event closing. But all right, so who went so far? I already forgot. Gino, you went, right? Walter, you went. All right, I'll make Jeff wait. Noah.
It's just one of those things right now where I feel like you have to have some sort of triple threat dynamic that leads into Roman Reigns being contesting for the WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes in some way, since he has been that marquee guy at the main event. There's only been 2 ways Roman's worked in his career on the biggest shows, not named WrestleMania: opener or closer. I can't tell you the last time he opened a show besides against Seth friggin' Rollins versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship back a couple years ago at Royal Rumble. He got disqualified. And that might be what they're trying to finally pull back here, the whole Shield thing with Seth friggin' Rollins and Roman Reigns. So Seth's in the chamber, CM Punk's in the chamber, John Cena's in the chamber, Roman's not. CM Punk wins the chamber. He goes on to night 2 to face Cody Rhodes in the WWE Championship, but maybe Roman Reigns and the wise men try to pull something here. Seth Rollins tries to deny Roman, and then there's a debacle there. Or somehow maybe Seth wins it, because Seth was the very first match of Cody when he came back home to WWE. And we get a complete swerve there. And this is when CM Punk calls in the favor. You get Roman and Seth. It just feels like somehow you're going to have a triple threat match on night 1 that will lead into your main event of night 2 if you're going to try and put Roman Reigns into the main event. I can't see this triple threat happening outside WrestleMania with the amount of time that they have left. And it really comes down to, in my opinion at this point, who wins the chamber. Because that's going to tell me right there, cause and effect, what you're getting on night 1 and who's Cody going to defend the championship against night 2. But at this point, it's got to be either CM Punk, Roman Reigns, or John Cena. I don't see it being Seth.
They had Daniel Bryan and Triple H lead off of WrestleMania 30. Winner created a triple threat main event, right?
Same
after
night, too.
Batista already had his spot from the Rumble win. So it's not like they've never done anything like that.
No. Same night, by the way, too, to your point. WrestleMania 30 was literally the night of the Yes Movement prevailing. And again, we've also seen triple threat matches for the championship in the main event of WrestleMania 37, night 2, I believe. It was Roman, Edge, Daniel Bryan. Roman pinned both.
Dude, and he literally, the chance he got to come back to be the OTC, wins the Ula follow back from, like, he's still a big deal, just not with the title.
Right.
So I'm just suspect on, maybe they'll surprise me. But Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I really don't. I'm like you, I don't know what to think. It's hard to believe in a reality that Roman Reigns isn't in a main event of one of those nights of WrestleMania. But as we've talked about, we saw it at the Rumble. The roster is so stacked right now that it's not out of the realm of possibility. I personally wouldn't have an issue with it, only because just because he's not closing the show doesn't mean he's not one of the most important people on the roster, because Roman Reigns is definitely that person. It really just depends how Chamber shakes out. It depends on a lot of things. I personally would love to see Punk win the Elimination Chamber and just have Roman and Seth be Roman and Seth. I think there's been enough history there, and you figure, remember, Seth was literally Cody's shield, and took the bullet for Cody to make sure he got the championship. Roman has not forgotten, and now Seth takes Roman out directly. Last year it was indirectly. He took the shot knowing that Roman couldn't resist, but now he directly, purposely attacked him twice after the Rumble with a pair of curb stomps. Roman Reigns is going to come back looking for blood. And I think that him and Seth can be that match. Will it be the show closer? No. In this case, doesn't need to be, at least for my fan money.
I'll be heavily overwhelmed and will criticize Triple H for not pushing his biggest star in the biggest spot and letting these other jabrones sneak in there, especially a show that you're not going to probably have Rock on.
Think about this, Virtue.
And nothing against Seth Rollins,
okay,
but he's not Roman Reigns.
No, he's not.
No. But we're in Las Vegas, and ding, 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 they could do like some crazy triple main event promo booking.
Yeah, WWE has shown over the years that they will call a marquee match a main event. How many main events were there at WrestleMania 19? 4?
At least.
But,
and granted, it was Hulk and Vince. It was Austin Rock. Those are pretty big damn marquee matches, even though they're not for the championships. But is Roman Seth at that level is the question that has to be in the minds of the people in creative and the WWE Universe. Will we accept Roman versus Seth as a marquee match, even though it's not one of the main events?
All right, everybody went, so back to Aaron.
All right, we got some super chats here. So Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He says Roman Reigns versus Joe Hendry for the TNA title.
8 seconds.
I believe in John Cena challenging for his 17th with Joe more than I do Roman.
I believe in what Jeff said, and I will double down on that.
I mean, Roman
I like
already.
Joe Hendry, but he would lose to a Superman punch, not even a spear.
I mean, he got dumped by Roman Reigns in like 2 minutes. So,
A spear thrown over the top rope, done.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says Roman Reigns versus Scrubby Allen, Kennel from Hell. That might even be shorter.
7 seconds.
7 seconds.
There
you go.
7 seconds.
Let's see if we can get down to what technically 4 seconds, because you'd still need 1 second to do something to somebody. So can we get down to a 4 second? Can we get down to a 4-second match for Roman Reigns before the end of the show?
Well, what about Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor in the Ultimate Squash match?
Wait, so now we're down to but the Demon Balor match went a while.
That's true.
With Roman. So I wouldn't. That would be several minutes.
Yeah. But with the new music, maybe 2 minutes tops.
Oh yeah. With no.
That's a whole different conversation for another day.
We're still at 7 seconds then, right? Or yes.
All right. Well, wait a minute. Here we go. Could this break it? Roman Reigns versus Sheamus in a tater tots on a pole match.
6 seconds.
Well, you know what? If the tater tots just fall off the pole, they can't get them like on a level platform. They just come off. The match ends in like 2 seconds. Botch, as Noah would say, and we move on.
No, I'll give that a 6-second match. That's the new lead.
6 seconds. Okay.
Brought to you by Sonic.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Says Roman Reigns versus Mickey Mouse in a barbed wire.
That's going to be at least how long? Jeff, how How long are Disney cartoons back in the day? About 9 minutes, 13 minutes for like a standard little Mickey Mouse.
Well, the classic Mickey shorts anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so it's definitely going to be at least that long.
Mickey Mouse is 98 years old. You lay off that mouse. Shame on you.
But
He
probably
really
say
is psycho.
He is
gotta get Jeff triggered.
Remember,
triggered, yeah.
Mickey Mouse has those surprise tools that he can use for later.
That's
He'll-
right. The
he
mouse
will-
can tools will whoop Roman Reigns' ass. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it will
good
be more
gracious.
competitive than you would think.
He'll be competitive than some of the other guys we've listed already.
And not just
Yeah.
in a business sense either.
No DQ after dark. We're going to hell. Anyway, carry on.
It's too bad this is never going to happen. But imagine Roman
God,
Reigns
that
versus
would
Stone
be-
Cold Steve Austin in a brawl. I'd love it, man. But I
That'd go
don't,
at least 15 minutes.
If Kevin hadn't done it already with Steve, absolutely.
if Austin wanted to do it, I think it would happen. But I think the ship has sailed on that. I think he's moved on.
There's a
I do
reason
believe
I
we will
wasn't-
see Austin at Mania, though.
Yes.
I do believe his music is going to
Yeah.
hit, and it's
Absolutely.
going to be awesome.
I agree.
I wanted to just say this about the WrestleMania plans. I think Roman Reigns is going to be in the main event, meaning he's going to be in the closing match. But here's what I think at this point. My prediction, it's going to be more or less what we expect. And it may be a letdown, but we'll see. Maybe they can do some great building up with these matches. But I think John Cena is going to win the Chamber, and he'll fight Cody Rhodes. I think Jey Uso will fight Gunther. It's not going to be the main event. It's going to be second to last, or maybe even the opening match. And then I think Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins will close out night one of WrestleMania. That's my prediction right now. Maybe they'll close out night two. Who knows? Maybe they'll put the triple threat match on last. I would prefer a singles match with Roman Reigns, but I think they're going to do the triple threat match. But Virtue, I think it's going to get the main event of one of those nights. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and that'll give him the 10th time he closed the show, but if he doesn't close night two, technically he didn't close the event. And, it's bound to happen again.
Hey, maybe he will get the night two. Maybe
Dude,
they'll do-
I'm thinking way into the future. You know what I would like to see way down the road? I don't know when. Somehow Jacob Fatu gets a WrestleMania match against Roman, whether it's a title or not,
Oh yeah.
and beats him. And the next night on Raw, Jacob comes out and says, "This is my yard now." Dude, I would pop. For that would be
Talk about
dude,
passing the torch.
talk about passing the torch, man. That would be awesome.
And Virtue, the last
I
time
would accept.
WrestleMania,
I would accept that, assuming they built up Jacob properly.
the last time WrestleMania ended without the championship match being the main event, I believe was 33 when
Which was
it was
Roman
Roman Reigns
beating
versus
The Undertaker.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility for WrestleMania to close out not with a championship match if Roman Reigns is in it. Especially because honestly, that
But I'm
main
not
event-
saying as soon as this year. I would give it
No.
a couple years, but man, that would be a heck of a moment.
Yeah,
the night,
and
the
I mean-
Raw after Mania to recreate that moment that Roman had.
Look,
yeah.
the main event should be the match with the biggest star power. Bottom line,
And the
that
biggest
should be the
stakes,
main
yeah.
event.
Yep.
Stop saying that the winner of the Royal Rumble gets the main event.
That
I
they
said
should
this
definitely
before.
agree.
stop. Yeah.
Yes.
Marquee match at WrestleMania gets the
Yes.
marquee match at WrestleMania.
It was a good gimmick when they were using it to actually have the championship match be last.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
now
against
with the
Roman,
men's
but they've-
matches, with the women's matches, I mean,
Yeah.
the women's matches don't even come close to the main event.
Charlotte
I mean,
Flair
technically
might
speaking,
semi-main.
technically speaking, Charlotte should main event night one. Jay should main event night two. If
Right.
we're gonna break it down like that, that's how
Yeah.
it should be.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's not.
But it's
Yeah.
not gonna be in this world. Exactly.
Yeah, Psycho Jet Black said Swerve, Tiffany Stratton, and Charlotte main events.
You know what? Tiffany has proved herself, and Charlotte is Charlotte. I'm here
What's
for
the
it.
phrase you and Aaron say sometimes, Jeff? What's
Oh,
the phrase?
It's not hard to book; it's just hard to finance. That's the
No,
problem.
the whole unlikely.
Oh,
Highly
unlikely in
all
unlikely.
likelihood.
That's all Aaron.
That's
He-
where I'm
he-
going.
he
That's
said
where I'm
that's
going
why
with
I
that
bailed.
one.
So yeah,
All right, we got some super chats here. We'll
God
get to
damn, I
these.
gotta get out of here.
Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Shout out Tito. Says if Roman Reigns takes time off after WrestleMania 41, year wasted.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't mind him not being there every week, but I'd like him to be involved, especially if he should be. Some of his dates should be in between Mania and SummerSlam because he's on the cover of the video game. And when does that game come out?
Not too long after.
Yeah, like that's video game season for them. I don't know. You would just
Yeah.
think he would
Yeah.
have a lot of extra dates in that period of
Doesn't
time.
that usually come out in March, if not in the fall? I thought, or something like that.
March 14th, according to Google.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Yeah, so
I
he
thought it was
might.
March.
He's probably going to take time off after WrestleMania. I hate to say it.
But he took time off of WrestleMania last year and was out for months until SummerSlam.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
like,
his career.
I mean, I
at this
get it.
point.
He worked 4
That's
years
the
and
Brock
whatever.
Lesnar
And
career, yeah.
He's got the Brock Lesnar deal.
He's
I
earned
mean,
the
he did come back and work at the end of last year during the holidays. I mean, right, with the bloodline stuff.
War Games,
Mhm.
Survivor Series War Games.
Oh, and
Yeah.
he
Bad Blood
ended
and
2023
Survivor
before
Series.
Mania. Yeah.
And then he worked the first Raw of the year. So,
Yeah.
Aaron, did you get all the super chats?
I got a couple left here. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Says Ryback versus Sean Stasiak at WrestleMania 41. Meat versus meat.
Wow.
How you holding up, Jeff?
Psycho Jet
I
Black
wanna
must have
go
like
home.
a database of people that he can pull from. It's the names he's dropping is great.
What is
Dude,
going
Brock
on? We
Lesnar
got
wasn't in
Ryback.
trouble. His meat company could sponsor that.
To go back to the Roman thing, didn't he just do a podcast or a radio show with Heyman not too long ago? And he said it the morning when I wake up in the morning, then everybody else is effed. But he
Yeah.
said the word, the whole word.
Yep.
Dude, like he's the big deal. Like that's they need to keep playing off of that. I mean, he's always on the
Yeah.
Today shows, the Tonight shows. Man,
And here's the thing: you do that triple threat. How do you follow that triple threat? Like, I don't think Jey and Gunther can
You
follow
can't.
that.
I don't think you can.
I don't know. Ask
You end the
ask
show
Triple H
after
Chris
that.
Jericho about following something like that.
You send everybody home after that because that's the
Right.
main event.
Accurate.
That's what you do.
We're gonna do these matches tomorrow. We're good though. Yeah.
And then
all right,
when
Aaron,
they-
where are we with the super chats? Caught up?
We got two more here. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says Roman Reigns versus Luther for the last name Reigns. Okay,
We're
Jeff,
down to 5
Trigger
seconds.
me again.
Jeff, we will never mention Luther Reigns on this show again. Jeff,
Not if we
Psycho
can
Jet
help it.
Black, I am going to censor Luther from now on. With all due respect to the man that manages Tony Storm, Luther is banned from
That's
NoDQ
right.
review. That is like the
We
F
got our
word
5
on this
second
stream.
match, so we need to find one more where Roman can win in 4 because you can't.
Oh,
do
here
it
we
less-
go.
In
You
Luther's
can't
current
do it less.
condition, it would
You
only be
can't
5
do it
seconds.
less than 4 because you got to do something for a second before you pin him one.
Well, what if we had Hulk Hogan versus Kendrick Lamar in a rap battle? Could that go under 4 seconds?
I'm not touching that one.
I mean, have you heard Hulkster's in the house?
No,
You never heard Hulk Hogan's album? The
I remember Macho Man. I don't remember Hogan.
Hulkster's in Heaven? No, I think that was a ballad, but I think there's a couple rap songs on there from Hulk Hogan.
I'm just
what's the
gonna
one?
do it alone.
What's the one? I want to be a Hulkamaniac.
Yeah,
Have fun
yeah.
with all my family and friends.
Freaking Dave Sullivan came out to that song in '95. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hulk
damn it.
Hogan should have been canceled for that album alone.
Did anybody else notice on Raw that we
Remember
had a great
Pastamania?
Slim Jim commercial with LA Knight and Jay and Macho Man in the background? The next commercial is Hogan's beer. Even in death, he's still upstaging Macho Man. What a trash guy.
Hogan owes everything to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Those guys saved his
Damn
career.
right.
Too sweet.
He should be worshiping at Bischoff's door the rest of his days.
Well, he needs to go to MLW for that.
Shit, that's valid.
All right, we're caught up. That was a fun discussion tonight, and yes, we hope Ricky Starks comes.
No
to
one
WWE.
paid, dude. Aaron, no one really paid to talk about any of the releases. I know we kind of talked about Ricky Starks jokingly, but there you go.
I want one petty thing to happen with Ricky. I want him to be in Ava's office. Ava welcomes him to NXT, and right as he leaves, she goes, "Hey Ricky, by the way, nice shirt," and they just leave it like that. That's just
There you go.
that little stab, because we would know what that is, and then you don't have to make it as big of a deal.
Ricky Starks versus All Ego Ethan Page. Stand and deliver.
Hey, and I endorse Miro coming back as Rusev as the meat man. Rusev. He
That
comes
would be
back.
fun, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing Rusev versus Gunther.
Could you imagine if he goes back, and even if it's just mid card, but the Rusev Day thing hits again and the T-shirts sell again, and just another one that
meat.
Tony Khan lost at WWE markets.
All he needs is a shirt that just says meat in a cool font. And he comes out there and just destroys people, and everybody goes meat. and they can rebuild Rusev. I
The
think
meat
Rusev
division.
would actually be a good fight, and with the TNA relationship, Aiden English or whatever he goes by as a commentary is right there.
Matthew
kind of
Raywalt.
reunited.
And you could do Rusev versus Gunther. You can do Rusev versus Braun Breaker. You could do Rusev versus Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman. Like there's a ton of guys you can put Rusev in there. And
Obafemi.
Femi, like Rusev has a whole new group of guys he can work with and have some awesome meat matches with.
He comes back this
You
year.
talk about marketing.
He can lose to John Cena one more time.
There you go.
There you go.
God, oh, it's
All
horrible.
right, let's go around and do our. Let's go around and do our last words, and you could say whatever you want.
Okay,
You
okay.
know. So Noah, go ahead.
Been a pleasure always, gentlemen. I'll see you down the road again. Stay tuned, folks, for Sleepy Predicting NXT League kicking off this week. I'll be doing Sleepy Predicting NXT Wednesday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday night on my Simple YouTube channel. But you could always stay in tune with the Predictions League by following me on the Twitter and on YouTube and Foster1916. We're only wish to continue to encourage you to just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. Bit of party virtue.
Thank you, Noah. Jeff, you got 5,000 followers. Jeez, Noah.
That's
Look
crazy.
at you, Mr. Popularity.
I never
Because
look
he
at the
talks about
numbers, so-
AEW.
I never look at the numbers. So for those that follow me, thanks.
All right, go. All right, Jeff.
All right, so this is mainly for my Aaron. Can we take the NoDQ thing off of the QR code for me just for a second? I really appreciate that. Thank you. So this is a member of our LA Kings family, Gabby. She used to be on our ice crew. She's been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Actually, our family started this GoFundMe to help support her and her loved ones through this time. Gabby and her family are making updates throughout her journey, and you can click on the QR code, which I guess we can't get rid of it. The stupid StreamYard. I'm sorry. I'll have Aaron post the GoFundMe in the description. But yeah, I've known Gabby for years. Like I said, she was part of our King's Ice crew when Dylan was young, a little one, and she has stage 4 colon cancer that's now metastasized into her liver. So we're just trying to make sure she can fight and beat this. She's got 3 little ones. The littlest one's just 6 months old. So we just I want to throw out support and make sure that everybody sees this, and hope we can get Gabby past this, because cancer is not discriminatory and it seems to always get the good folks. So please, if you can, find it. You actually find that
Jeff,
support Gabby's fight.
Send me another graphic real quick, and I'll throw it up before we wrap this up. With Psycho Jet Black's comments here, we might go a few more minutes. So Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says Rusev also brings back Simon Gotch with Aiden English.
Oh my God, there you go.
Hey, I would be down for that, since we got the partnership. They can bring back Aiden English to do the Rusev Day. Although, you know what? Rusev can just come out there. He doesn't need Lana. He doesn't need Aiden. Just let him come out there and beat people up, and
Yeah, exactly.
he'll get over.
I think Matthew Raywalt's doing a great job on TNA commentary.
Yeah, and you could always bring him in for like if Rusev does WrestleMania again, you could bring back Aiden English for the WrestleMania entrance and do the Rusev Day.
I think I put the link in the comments. So I'll just do that, Aaron. I think I can do that.
Tell you one
Okay,
thing, Matthew is
we're
a lot
moving on to
easier
the next person. What's going on here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
All right, Walter.
Throw that graphic. There we go.
Oh, jeez.
By the way, I'm printing that and having her sign it because she's doing some signing thing. But you can follow me on Twitch at SRS1983, Twitter and Blue Sky at Walter Alex Cruz, the Instagram Walter.Cruz.940, and the at Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel. If people get me to 300 by the end of the year, my wife and I are going to do the Hot Ones Challenge live on YouTube.
God.
So I'm
You're
not
crazy.
really looking forward to that, but I need the subscribers. So you got a whole year to do it.
All right, thank you, Walter. Gino.
As always, honored to be here, guys. It's always been good to have a place to talk wrestling. You guys can catch me at any social that you have at Papagino0017. On the road to 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. It's modest, but you need that to get monetized. So if you like live video games, if you like movies and TV review, come check me out. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one, guys.
All right, thank you. Back to Aaron.
All right, just stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding everything going on in WWE and AEW. We got some events coming up, Vengeance Day, and we got the Grand Slam coming up this weekend. Stay tuned for the latest regarding that. And great discussion tonight. Thank you to the panel. Thank you, Virtue, for moderating. And we'll be back next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. Follow me on x.com if you dare at NoDQ_virtue. And make sure you go to NoDQ.com/merch and get the Your Mark shirt and all the cool NoDQ merchandise and Virtue shirts. That is it for the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy. For Aaron, Gino, Walter, Jeff, and Noah, good night, everybody, and we will see you again next time.
Have a good night, folks.